sponsor iftars at the masajid and so on. And so we tend to visit people to eat their food. We are invited to iftar gatherings. We are coming to the masjid and enjoying iftar that is sponsored by others. And after Ramadan as well, in Eid, we will be invited by people, we'll be visiting people and having food with them. And there is a sunnah associated with this that is often neglected, especially when the gatherings are larger. When there is larger gatherings, we will go to a person's house, or if they've reserved a clubhouse or something like that, we'll go to a wedding party, for example, large hall. We'll go, we'll meet people, we'll enjoy the food, enjoy the company, and we will say salam and we will leave. And we will miss this sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And it is a simple sunnah, and it is the sunnah of making dua for the host. Making dua for the host. When somebody hosts us, no matter how big or lavish or small or simple the meal is, they have taken the time out to host us, to prepare a meal for us, or purchase a meal for us, and they're sharing that with us. And the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is not to leave before making dua for the host and the family of the host. And I feel like this is something that we often neglect. We may go and say salam to the person, but we do not make dua for the host. And we should. Now the Prophet ﷺ taught us a few du'as to say. And we can learn these du'as and say them, or we can make our own du'a as well. It doesn't have to be these du'as. But of course, prophetic du'as are more beautiful and more eloquent. And so I'll mention a few of them, inshaAllah ta'ala. Hopefully we can learn them and memorize them, and also appreciate the beauty in these du'as. So one of the du'as that the Prophet ﷺ used to make was Allahumma barik lahum fima razaqtahum waghfir lahum warhamhum. Allahumma barik lahum fima razaqtahum waghfir lahum warhamhum. And this is related by Ibn Hibban in his Sahih with a sound chain of transmission. What does it mean? Simply, O Allah, give them barakah in what you have provided for them. The rizq that you have provided for my hosts, give them barakah in that rizq. And forgive them and have mercy on them. So this dua is especially useful when you're not able to meet the host. Like yesterday night, for example. Yesterday night, there's no one person that I can thank and make dua for, in a second person. So this is a third person dua. Or let's say I go to a huge wedding party and the host is busy doing so many things. And so I don't get a chance to meet them. And so as I'm sitting on my table finishing my meal with the people on my table, maybe I make this dua for the host, because it's in the third person. Allahumma barik lahum fima razaqtahum waghfir lahum warhamhum. Another dua that the Prophet ﷺ used to make was أفطر عندكم الصائمون وأكل طعامكم الأبرار وصلت عليكم الملائكة. And this hadith is related by Abu Dawood and Tirmidhi and others, with a sound chain of transmission as well. So the meaning of this dua, أفطر عندكم الصائمون. May the fasting people break their fast with you. وَأَكَلَ طَعَامَكُمُ الْأَبْرَارِ. And may the righteous people eat your food. وَصَلَّتْ عَلَيْكُمُ الْمَلَائِكَةِ. And may the angels make dua for you. Look how beautiful this dua is. Yani, I'm telling the host that you are feeding me, but my dua to you is that may the fasting people break their fast with you. Because giving food to the fasting people is highly rewarded by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I'm making dua for the person that we're sharing a regular meal perhaps, but may the fasting people break their fast with you. أَفْطَرَ عِنْدَكُمُ الصَّائِمُونَ وَأَكَلَ طَعَامَكُمُ الْأَبْرَارِ. And this faqir is eating your food today, but I pray for you that may the righteous people eat your food in the future. وَأَكَلَ طَعَامَكُمُ الْأَبْرَارِ وَصَلَّتْ عَلَيْكُمُ الْمَلَائِكَةِ. And may the angels make dua for you. In other words, what dua can I make for you? May the angels make dua for you. So this is another beautiful dua that the Prophet ﷺ used to make for his hosts. And one more, inshaAllah ta'ala, or maybe two more. This other one is related by Imam Muslim in his Sahih. That the Prophet ﷺ would say, Allahumma at'im man at'amani wa asqi man asqani. Simple dua. Allahumma at'im man at'amana, or this is in the singular form. Allahumma at'im man at'amani wa asqi man asqani. And if we're a group, then we would say, Allahumma at'im man at'amana wa asqi man asqana. Which means what? Oh Allah, give food to those who have given us food, and give drink to those who have given us drink. Oh Allah, give food to those who have given me food, and give drink to those who have given me drink. Again, this is a dua that we can say, especially if we're not face to face with the person, because this applies in the third person as well. And lastly, and I'll close with this inshaAllah ta'ala, that there is a phrase that perhaps we say very often, but sometimes we don't say the phrase completely, especially those of us from the Indo-Pak region. And even if we say this phrase completely, we don't appreciate the eloquence of this phrase. And listen to this hadith from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is a hadith related by Imam al-Tirmidhi and Ibn Hibban with a sound chain of transmission. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Man suni'a ilayhi ma'ruf." Anytime someone does anything good to you, anytime someone does anything good to you, and of course hosting you is something good, min ma'ruf. فَقَالَ لِفَاعِلِهِ. And if you were to turn around and say the following to that person, فَقَدْ أَبْلَغَ فِي الثَّنَاءِ. You would have perfectly thanked them. You would have fulfilled your gratitude to that person. And what is that phrase? What is it? جَزَاكَ اللَّهُ خَيْرًا. جَزَاكَ اللَّهُ خَيْرًا. جَزَاكَ اللَّهُ خَيْرًا. Not جَزَاكَ. If you stop at جَزَاكَ اللَّهُ, it could be جَزَاكَ اللَّهُ خَيْرًا and جَزَاكَ اللَّهُ شَرًّا. Yeah? So the complete phrase is not Jazakallah. The complete phrase is Jazakallahu khayra or khayran. Which means what? May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you with the best. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you with the best. Right? And to add kathiran to that is actually limiting it. Don't add kathiran to that. Jazakallahu khayran kathira. No, khayran is nakira, yani this requires some appreciation of the Arabic grammar. Just leave it as it is, because you leave it open-ended, and that means may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you with unlimited khayr. With unlimited. Khayran is left unqualified. So unlimited goodness and virtue. And so Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is saying, when you say this phrase to someone who's done good to you, you've actually thanked them aptly, appropriately, fully. And so this is another thing, of course, that we can say whenever somebody does something good to us, especially when somebody is feeding us and hosting us. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward all of those who are hosting others in this month. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us among those who make dua for them and accept our du'as. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. The Quran recitation circle on weekdays is going to be after Asr, inshallah. So today, after Asr, we will continue the recitation of the Quran. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.